Welcome to Pivot Parenting, where we help parents of teens overcome regret and disappointment to find peace and connection in every situation. I'm Heather Fraser, your parenting expert. Journey with me to discover effective parenting tips, improve family relationships, and build a brighter future for your kids. Buckle up, things are about to get better. Hey, my friend, welcome to Pivot Parenting. I'm so excited to have you here with me today for so many reasons. I'm talking to self-image, self-love food specialist, Kerrie Nygard, and we have the best conversation ever. Before we dive into that, though, I want to make you aware of a couple of things. First off, all of Kerrie's contact information is in the show notes, which is an amazing resource for you to find her website, how to contact her, all the details about Kerrie. And then also, I want to let you know that my book, Mom Got Jesus Wrong, Hallelujah, is ready for pre-order at heatherfraser.com. This book, in case you have missed the details, is a metaphor. It is a young woman's journal. And her mother is organized religion, her brother is patriarchy, and it's how she finds Christ in spite of people using Christ's name in a blasphemous way to gain control, to forward their own agendas, and to spread chaos, confusion, and hatred. And I think that this book is super relevant in today's political and religious climate. I feel like we need Christ more than ever. And so if you would like to find Christ with the heroine of my book, I would love for you to do so. You can get all the information about how to pre-order and take a closer look at the book again at heatherfraser.com, which is also in the show notes. So check that out as you listen to my interview with Kerrie. Hey, Kerrie, welcome.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here with you, Heather.
I'm so excited. We have such a fun topic today that is exactly in your expertise, and it overlaps with parenting so well because our self-concept and cultural beliefs of how we're interpreting all the things ties in so well to both of our messages. So for the listeners who do not know you, can you introduce yourself?
Yeah, well, first and foremost, I'm a wife and a mama to six children. I have three girls and three boys, and I'm an outdoor person. I like to hike. But for my business life, I run an online program for faith-based women, teaching them how to no longer struggle with their body or with food and to come to a place of harmony. So it's a process of putting off diet mentality but then knowing what to replace it with. Oftentimes, women think that I would say, I'm either dieting or I'm the opposite, glutton. But how do we actually be in union with our bodies? How do we just be in flow with our bodies? And also, how do we remove the lies that our culture has placed on specifically women's bodies? Yeah.
Okay. And what does that sound like in real time?
Like, what does that look like? What do I do?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I run the online program that I've put over 1,000 women through now. And I go through a process over 12 weeks where we establish something called body partnership. For so long, women are in a battle with their bodies. They're trying to get their body to be different so that to feel what they want to feel. So we establish something called body partnership. I also teach them about emotional awareness, thought work, and then also we bring it around to this brain-friendly, sustainable type way of going about it. What happens and it's so nuanced within our culture, within our society, this idea that a woman can add to her value or to her worth by changing the way she looks. And it's preposterous,
Yeah.
but we believe it. It's all throughout society. And especially it plays out for males as well, but it especially plays out for females because even the time from the point where we're really little, even just pay attention how many times the little girl complimented for being beautiful, cute. The focus is on how she presents, how her outward appearance is, as opposed to a little boy. And so we've our society really reiterates and supports this idea that women are more valuable according to the level of perceived beauty that she has.
Yeah.
And by implication, the that messaging really affects women in a deep way. Our society teaches women that the way to the way to change the way you look is by what you do with food. So now food is no longer the way to fuel your body. It's the mechanism by which we add or take away from our value. It's the medium through which you can change value. And so this leads to such a disordered relationship with the body and with food. And so we deconstruct all of that. And I teach women how to be at peace with themselves, how to food back to basics with how do you even feed your body, just ridding the diet mentality out of there. So like women who are dealing with obsessive thoughts around food, not being able to stop thinking about food. Women who are having out of control behaviors with food, feel like they're just, I can't control myself around food.
Mm-hmm.
They think they're the problem, but it's actually this idea of dieting that's the problem because our brains are hardwired for survival. When you take something so basic like food and you attach your value to it, and then you also attach this idea that we're going to add to our value, and our lower brain is survival obsessed. So when you're like, oh, we're going to restrict food or we're going to control food, though it's not reasonable, your lower brain can't reason. So it goes into famine mode, it goes into scarcity mode. And so diet mentality is not compatible with the hardwired instincts of our brain. And we think they're the problem. And then this gets projected on the next generation, right? It gets projected on them. I've worked with women from their 20s clear up into their 80s, and it's really fascinating to see how this works generationally.
I was
Um,
just going to
yeah,
ask,
yeah.
how do you see this in your clients? How do you see it playing out as far as when they were picking this up and who they picked this up from? Does it come a lot from their family of origin, like their moms, aunties, older sisters?
Yes, yes, and yes, all around. I think this really does the first thing I teach women in every free workshop that I do, and the first thing I the women that work with me that we work on is partnering with our body. What do you believe your body to be? This is really foundational. What do you believe about your body? Do you believe your body is a friend or a foe? Do you think your body is there supporting you or working against you? I teach women, and the women that come to me are faith-based, of mostly Christian, but lots of different faiths. And they've been taught that at some point we die and our body stays here on earth, and then our true selves, right, go back to our creator. But when it comes to dieting, our body is us. We think we're our body, we think that's who we are, but it's not. Our body is our vessel that houses us as we journey throughout time. And she's always fulfilling the measure of her creation. She's keeping you alive. And when you think about the body, it is a miracle. It's always a miracle. She's breathing for you, she's breathing for you. And so healing that relationship is really important. So, how that plays out on different generations, because of this perpetuated idea of diet mentality that a woman can add or take away from her value based upon her level of perceived beauty. So it depends on which generation they grew up in. If I were to ask, what's your ideal body? It's different according to the years that they grew up, like high school, college years. They'll tell you, like if the women that are in their 60s, they want a wispy frame. That's a word I hear a lot. In the 90s, when I was in high school, it was all about this kind of emaciated look, like collarbone
Yes.
sticking out, hip bones sticking out.
Heroin chic.
And
I
now,
think we're about the
yeah,
same
and
age.
yeah, yeah. And then now, and back then, people didn't want butts. You don't want a big butt, but now big butts are celebrated,
Oh
right?
yeah. My
And
girls
so it
fight
just,
over who has the biggest butt.
I know, which is hilarious to me because in high school we would be like, "Oh, does my butt look big?" And now they're like, "Ooh, you've got cake." Yeah. Like, you know what I
Yep.
mean? And it's
Slim thick.
hilarious to me. Like such a shift. You can go through social media streams and you'll have girls like showing gain 15 pounds, look at my back end, and they're like celebrating their back
Yeah.
end. And it's what it is it's varying levels of the same thing, which is objectifying your body.
Yep.
So what's hilarious to me right now, there's this idea of body positivity, which I think is great, but the way that I see it implemented is it used to be we only sexualize these kinds of bodies, and now we're going to sexualize all the different kinds of shapes of bodies. We're going to over sexualize all of them, and we're going to objectify all of the bodies.
Yep.
Um, So
That way
it's
it's
really,
even.
yeah, it's really fascinating. I think diet mentality is the biggest booby trap that's ever been set for women in humankind. I really do. It distracts women from greater purposes, it distorts them from their worth, and it disengages them from who they innately are.
Which, from my perspective, directly affects every relationship in your life, starting with your own, but
Mhm.
then your relationship with your children, with your
Yeah.
spouse, with your friends.
Yeah.
And I love relationships, and it's fascinating to see how when we don't accept our body, we tend to judge our daughters' bodies, even if we would never say it to them.
Yeah.
We're thinking, you shouldn't eat that as they're taking a second portion or whatever, because we're objectifying them, just like we objectify ourselves.
Absolutely, 100%. I think when we realize what's going on, like when women come to me and they kind of wake up to what's been going on in their life, immediately they feel shame and
Yeah.
guilt that they have been so unkind to their bodies. I really teach this view that your body is the most important relationship aside from your creator that you have in this life. That without your body, you wouldn't be here. And that there's no moment of time that you've experienced, there's no relationship that you've had in this life, there's no joy, no pain that you have not experienced together. And without her, none of it would have been possible.
Hi there. I just want to pause and let you know if you are struggling to make sense of your teen's behaviors, emotions are running wild, and you're looking to turn things around to have the family you dreamed of while rocking them to sleep, I would love to talk to you. I want to give you a special, powerful gift. 30 minutes with me, my friend. You'll walk away with more confidence, clarity, and understanding of what the issue is and your next best step in resolving any situation you bring to me. It's completely free. I love families and want to help yours be wildly happy and successful. Book this call by visiting my website, heatherfraser.com. Remember, Fraser is spelled with a Z-I in the middle. And don't worry, the link is also in the show notes. I look forward to meeting and helping you. Yeah. So, what keeps us from accepting and loving our bodies?
Well, I think there's like these big three lies. Okay, the three myths is that one of them is that what's ideal for your body is what society says it is. So that's one myth. Because people say, what's your ideal body? And they'll just tell you whatever was the celebrated type of body of their generation. But
Mm-hmm.
what is ideal for your body? So the number one myth, I think, or the big lie is that what's ideal for your body is what other people are saying. And then the second one is that the condition of your body reflects your worth.
So, if
And
I'm
I'm not
fit,
just
I'm
talking
worth
about,
more versus if I'm
yeah, even
not
just
what I
looking
want to
at
be.
before and after pictures. I don't do before and after
Yeah, I don't
pictures.
like before and after pictures.
And or even just body shots when people do like
Uh-huh.
what I eat in a day and they do this body shot.
Yeah.
There's this idea of size me up, scale, and
Yeah.
with our teens today, it's rate them 1 to 10, like they rate people, right?
Yeah.
Smash or pass, right? That's what our teenagers are doing, right? It's this
Smash or
rating of
pass.
bodies.
Yep. That's not
Um,
objectifying.
no, not at all, right? So this idea that the way our body looks reflects who we are, that's another lie
Yeah.
because that's not true at all. And then the third big myth, and there's more than this, of course, but the big three is that our body is something to battle with.
It's our enemy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if our body was the way it was supposed to be, then I would look like this, and then I could get to feel the way I want to feel. Like this is the very essence of a toxic, even codependent relationship. For example, if this were to play out with our children, it would be like, you're great. Mom loves you. But boy, I would love you and like you so much if you would do this, 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 and look this way and be this way
Yeah.
with so much effort.
Grow your hair out longer. Make sure to wear the outfits that I picked and eat what I tell you.
Yeah. Yeah. And then I would be all in on you. Or it can look the other way. Well, I can't do that because of my body XYZ, or my body's keeping me from this. This is
From wearing a
codependent.
bathing suit.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
The
That's
women
the
that I
hot
work with,
girl
one of my
summer.
I told my daughter that I heard that come out of her mouth. I was like, oh, we're not, no, not that phrase.
No, not that phrase.
Um, I think I have top like no's, like never do's as a mom that I would
Mhm.
recommend for other moms too.
Let's hear them.
Because I think realize that we're a product of diet mentality as well.
Yes, we are.
There's no really way around it. You just have to recognize it, see it for what it is and call it out and
Yeah.
then readjust accordingly.
Educate the next generation as you see
Yeah,
it.
and I do this, I have a business around this and diet mentality will still come up for me. I just know what to do with it when it does,
Yep.
right? Because a lot of women are like, "Oh, I've been so bad my whole life. I've been in diet mentality. How do I keep from projecting this on my daughters and my granddaughters and so forth?" That's a really common question
Yeah.
I get. And knowing that we're a product of diet mentality, it's really helpful to have some absolutes. I will nevers. This can be helpful. So the first one is never make comments about your body in a negative light, like, oh, my thighs are so chubby, or just don't make comments about that.
Yeah.
And then don't make comments about other people's body parts. It is picking people apart. It is not honoring what the body truly is, and it perpetuates that idea to the next generation.
Yeah.
So just don't ever make comments about anybody's body parts. Like I can think back and the people I work with too, they'll remember the comments that aunt made, mom made, dad made, and those comments stick with them. And I'm talking about women that were sent to Weight Watchers as young as 4 and 5. My mind is blown, but yes,
Wow.
very young, being put on a diet by a doctor and having to count calories at ages of 8, 9, and 10. What's really interesting when it comes to female bodies is that when I started thinking there was a problem with my body, it was about 8 or 9 years old when I started to round out right before having a growth spurt going into puberty, like
Sure.
those pre-puberty ages. And family members, I'm not mad at them, but made comments, right? Like, oh,
Yep.
look at your little pooch. You're like, oh, look at that. Or just different
Yikes.
comments like, oh, maybe you shouldn't eat that. And they
Hmm.
weren't intended to be malicious, but their impact is really destructive. And
Yeah.
so just don't make comments on people's body parts. Just don't do it.
Kerrie, is there anything else on this never list?
I think also never commenting on what they should or should not be eating.
Not never
Well,
comment on what they should or should not be eating. Okay, tell me more.
so we need to be careful on this because diet mentality and all around us reinforces that food is the medium through which we can add or take away from our value. And this
And that,
becomes really problematic.
yeah. Do you see a lot of food being morally bad?
That's, can you even conceive of removing all morality from food? Like, what would that even look like?
It would look amazing.
It's even difficult to conceive of because food has always been such a moral thing, presented as a moral thing. And
Yes.
even now, it's is that clean or dirty? I'm all about, I'm not talking about not taking proper care of your body. What I'm talking about is removing someone's value as a person based upon what their body looks like and based upon their food choices. Projecting your ideas of goodness or badness on that on a child or a teenager is it just never brings it never helpful ever. I can't ever find a time that it was helpful. Making comments, I think it's okay to make comments like, "Ooh, how do you feel?" Right? Later on when they're like, "Oh, I don't feel so good." You're like, "Oh, yeah, maybe remember that next time." Like I think
Yeah.
drawing their attention to how they feel, what that experience is, I think it's okay to educate on what different substances do to the body. But what we have to remove from that is that it's not about what should you do or what you have to do. It's a matter of how do you want to feel. And when you bring it around to that place, it becomes clear. It kind of cuts through the morality. What feels good in my body? What helps support me and how I want to feel? When it comes to accepting your body, I know a lot of women feel ill-equipped to be able to do this effectively with their children because they feel so steeped in diet mentality.
Yeah.
Um,
What do you
uh-huh.
recommend for if a listener wants to start creating a better relationship with their body? Do you have some starting points?
Yeah, for sure. I have 3 tips. Okay. So I've got three
Okay.
tips. Kind of I boiled it down so it's easy to remember. The first one is you need to reconnect with the purpose of your body. And I talked about that just a little bit ago. What do you believe your body to be? And this is a spiritual thing. You don't have to be religious, but on a level of what do you believe your body to be? Now, I teach women, and this is the idea that I reinforce, is that our body is our holy vessel that allows us to journey throughout time on this earth so that we can grow and expand as a divine being in a human experience. And when we view our bodies in this light, we realize, oh, my body's my friend. She's showing up for me in every moment. So it shifts the narrative to this kind, compassionate, and soft place. So reconnecting with the purpose of your body in this life, really important. The purpose of your body is not to gain validation from other people. That is not the purpose of our body. Well, this is so hard for the teenage brain. I
Yeah.
mean, adolescents, their
Hard for adult
brain,
brains.
yes, but
Mhm.
the teenage brain is hardwired for acceptance. They're really hyper focused in on because of where their brain development at is being accepted by their peers, and that's an important
Yes.
part of development. The goal is not to get our children to not go through these developmental periods, but to model for them a different way of thinking about their bodies in a way that will produce good things for them in their life. So again, number one is reconnecting with the purpose of your body, teaching that to your teenagers, reiterating that for yourself. The second thing is to recognize that your body is not who you are.
Say more.
This is really important because to be able to distinguish who am I separate from who is my body. And again, this is another kind of a spiritual level of do I believe that I will exist when my body is dead? You know, like nobody gets out of this life without dying. That's
Sure.
inevitable for all of us. Do I believe that that's it? The people I work with and what I teach is that no, we believe that we return to our makers. And even that there will be a resurrection even at some point. But the idea that my body is not who I am. There's some exercises that I go through women with to do this. There's mirror exercises. I had one of my biggest aha moments that really cemented and clarified for me when I decided I was never going to do this dieting thing again. I was looking in the mirror and I had just I was about to get in the shower or something. And this is a time where I would have just been picking my body apart. Like, this should be different. This should be better. This is
Uh-huh.
blah, 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 blah. I was in this period of time where I'm like, what I'm doing is not working. I need to figure out something different. So I was kind of like in this growth stage of just kind of questioning what I believe in regards to my body and food. And so I was staring kind of deeply into my eyes. And I had this, for me, it was a real spiritual experience of the epiphany of, oh, I'm looking at my body, but this is not me. And then I thought, well, where am I? And as I looked deep into my eyes, I saw this light within my eyes, and I thought, there I am. My body is not me, but it is my vessel. And so realizing a separation between who you like innately divinely spiritually are and who this what this temporal body is really powerful in creating a change out of diet mentality. So that's the second one. So recognizing that your body is not your identity. Society would tell you that your body is your identity.
Yeah.
You know,
And your
it's your
achievements
image.
and your socioeconomic status and
Oh, yes.
how many kids you've
Yeah, how you
had.
dress your body.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. And even for our children, it's like, oh, like the even phrases like, oh, they got bad aura or they're losing aura. Like those are
Yep.
phrases I hear my kids saying. But this idea that our body is not who we are. Because this points towards a deeper spiritual connection with who we are, which is really helpful in disengaging from diet mentality. So
Okay.
that's the second thing. So first we have reconnect with the purpose of your body, then recognize that your body is not your identity. And then the third thing is eliminate negative influences. So this is where we pay attention. Like when I'm on social media or when I'm with these people or whatever, how do I then feel about myself and how do I feel about my body? I recommend for women to unfollow anyone who creates content that leaves them feeling like their body needs to be fixed.
Brilliant.
Unfollow them. Stop it. I'm not saying that any content creator that does body shots is not worth following, but usually if there's a lot of body shots constantly, then it's probably not helpful. Just
Yeah.
a tip. Not a across the board given, but usually. But just getting rid of these different voices in our head are reinforcing a continued belief, thinking that our body is something that can add or take away from our value based upon her level of perceived beauty. So just eliminating those influences is really important. And then listening to other positive influences. So seeking out those that celebrate their body no matter what, that celebrate caring for your body from a place of gratitude rather than a place of self-loathing, this type of thing. And for a parent, for a mother who's listening to this, who has daughters, and I have three daughters, as you go through this process of reconnecting with the purpose of your body and recognizing that your body's not you and eliminating these negative influences to put off this diet mentality, also being honest with your teenagers on what that journey has been for you and what it looks like even for you now, to not pretend that it no longer affects you. You're 100% immune from it is just not realistic considering how our society is.
Mm-hmm.
And just sharing that and so that they can see a model of growth, a model of acceptance, that they don't think that these things just disappear overnight, but that that's a practice. And then as they see that, they'll begin to join with you as you move forward on these things. An example of this, my 15-year-old, I've been trying to up my level of fiber in my diet
Uh-huh.
because I notice my body feels good when I have fiber. But I don't recommend women to count calories for long periods of time. Usually not at all. And if they do, short periods of time, just to gain awareness. But I was calculating how much fiber I had had that day, trying to figure it out, trying to see if I'm meeting my goals that for in that way. And she goes, "Mom, are you counting calories?" Like she was like, "Are you doing that?" And I said,
She
"No,
wanted
I'm
to
not.
bust
I'm trying to." Yeah, she did. But see, she's learned from watching me what that can look like and the dangers of that. Or
Huh?
even she came home from track practice the other night. This was just last night or the night before. And she's a talker and she likes to talk all about her day and download her day and who said what and how it all went, right? And so one of her friends had said something to the effect of, "Well, you're not fat, but you're not skinny." And there was this whole conversation she relayed to me. And it was the teenage groups of girls are such an animal of themselves, right? Like
Yeah.
there's this vying for positioning. And because of diet mentality in our society, that can be used as a tool to one up, other people and so forth. And she was talking to me about this experience and I was just listening and I said, "Well, what did you think about what she said?" She goes, "Well, she was happy with my body. Like I'm okay with it. My body's strong and can do great things and I appreciate my body." And her saying anything doesn't change that. And I thought, "What? Are you
That's
kidding me?"
amazing.
I felt this moment of, like
It's
me
working.
going working. Yes. And I mean the same girl is the same one that said hot girl summer. It's okay. It's all the things, right?
Yep.
But realizing for her to recognize these things, it's because I have been open with my journey and with all the women that I coach as well. She sees this, she hears this, she's around it, and so she's able to have that modeled for her so she can see it. I don't know how many 15-year-old girls could say that. Well, I'm pretty happy with my body.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that I think that I like everything about my body, just like we don't like everything about every friend that we have, but that we recognize and have a true love and acceptance for our body.
That's amazing. Do you have any other advice on how parents can help their daughters have a healthier relationship with their own bodies?
I think those are the main things. So maybe I'll just reiterate not making comments about body parts, whether your own or theirs or others.
Mm-hmm.
Not making moral judgment calls on food choices, but focusing in on how does that feel in your body? Is that the experience you want to have? And let them be the judge of that. And then the three tips that I just finished, maybe even a fourth tip if you count the being open with your journey with them. So reconnecting with the purpose of your body, recognizing your body's not you. So separating your identity separate from your body, recognizing that your body is your vessel, not who you are, and then eliminating those negative influences. I could talk about this for a long, long time, but I think those are the main things that I would want anyone listening to this to come away from. And then also, I'm always doing free workshops. I have workshops online that are automated as well. And so if you go to my website, that's also a great tool to use as well. So,
Okay, perfect. And listeners, all of her contact information is in the show notes, so you can carry on with making dinner or driving around, and I've
yeah.
already got it down for you. Kerrie, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you so much. I sure enjoyed it.
Heather is the one, an expert in the field. She knows her parenting stuff, including how confusing it can be. You've tried it all, and it's a lost cause. Crying in the closet 'cause you failed.